So for our second floor, adding the floor here means we need to actually lower our beam and beam systems by the thickness of the floor. So we have here F2, concrete on metal deck, the height of which is 140 mm. That includes the 50 mm metal deck. If you notice here, the dimension line covers the entire floor thickness. So an additional 140 mm is needed. If you have already provided for this or considered this when you were adding the beam and beam system for the second floor, then you don't have to do anything else. In my case, that was not considered. So let me go to the second floor, and I have here a section cutting through the second floor. So let's look at that. Notice that the beam system, here's the joist beam system, and the beam is just at the level where your second floor top of concrete is. So we need to move all of this down. Unfortunately, we cannot move them down together since this one will only be lowered by negative 140, while this one, we need to lower it by negative 140 and 63.5. So how do we do that? Let's go to our 3D view and select first the beam that is not supporting the beam system. So hold down the Control key, make sure you select the correct beam. So unfortunately, we cannot use the filter method since we're actually lowering the beams with different heights. So I'm just going to select this. They're not that many anyway. So pre-planning is also important. Even if Revit means revise it, well, not revising is still a lot faster. So hold down the Control key. So I got the two lines of beams. A little more. Hold down the Control key. So that's what's being highlighted is the beam system. So lower it a little bit or zoom in. Hold down the Control key and select. Okay. And oops. I think I selected the beam system accidentally. So hold down the Shift key to remove from the selection. And then hold down the Control key again to add to the selection. Okay. Once you have selected all the beams, oops, I think I missed one there. Double check, zoom out, orbit around, and then change this by adding a negative 140 to the Z offset value. Okay. Next, double check. That got lowered. Now we're going to lower the beams perpendicular to that. So just click, don't hold the control key, and then now hold the control key to add to this selection. We're now going to lower the beams supporting the beam system. Now this is an additional 140 mm. So how do we do that? So what's the total? 140 plus 63.5. See, I'm not a mathematician, so instead of using a calculator, you can actually tell, let's see, let's look for the Z offset, if we can find one. I think I've selected some, there it is. So negative 63.5, you can actually create an equation equals negative 63.5 or minus 63.5 minus 140 gives you a total of negative 203. If you bring your mouse outside the property browser, it will do that. Okay, lowered distance, negative 203.5. Looks like it worked. And the joist or a beam system, let's select one of this, zoom. Looks like, did it follow? Looks like it did not follow. Okay, so let's see. Best to check in the section view. Oops, click the head. Yeah, it didn't follow. It didn't get lowered. So it's still at the top of concrete, second floor. If that's the case, we need to lower that as well. So select one beam system and select the rest. Okay, doesn't want to select that, select that. To orbit, you hold down the shift key. Okay, again, hold down the control. Like I said, planning ahead is a lot better, but I'm just showing this just in case this happens to you. So hold down the control key, shift to orbit around, control to select. Okay. Okay, double check. And let's see. From elevation from level should go down by minus 140. Okay, let's go back to our section view. I can actually go here, but I do have a lot of sections that I need to delete. So let me just go here, double click, and it worked. So now we're ready to add our second floor level concrete flooring.